Hi, hello everybody. Sorry for the delay of 9 minutes. Um, but as you know, I'm Argentinian. I need to speak. So, here we are to talk about everything that is related to um, the path, that is related to the project IAM, and to explain most of you about everything that is related with this project, because I know that many people is following right now everything that I do, but most of you doesn't have any idea about what is the project I am, which in Spanish is yo soy. So I would like to introduce the idea of the project, how all it started, and so you could join me and join all the people that we are working on this project, um, to 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 make yourself part of this. Um, so uh, I have been working on the project I am since 2015, um, through many different uh, things and aspects and changes and a lot of things happening. But in this past uh, 2 months, many things has happened, and many things has changed also, according to this project, due to the pandemic, the world pandemic that we are having now. So I would love to explain a little bit of everything that I have done to reach this project, and so you could know and share with other people that maybe ask you about this project and who am I, and what we are doing with all this I am project. So where to start? Um, well, first of all, I have to introduce myself, as a rememberer. Uh, I remember you that since I was a kid, I was able to remember everything that I have done before I was born, all my past lives, all the universe. So all the people in Spanish remembers me like the rememberer. They know me. They know me. They name me like the rememberer. So this was because I started to explain since I was a kid everything that I remember in my life. So in my life as a soul, as a spirit in the universe, in the cosmos. So it's not that I know many things, is that I remember. So I'm trying to explain as much as I can of everything that I remember, but it doesn't mean that I am like the wise person that knows every answer. I'm just telling the story that I have lived. So this is the first thing that makes me uh, a known person, uh, the rememberer. So I remember my memories, the path, the past, everything. The second meaning of my mission is to remember. Remember comes from the word put the members together. Remember. Members are the different parts of a whole. So all the members has been spread in the world, in history, in the consciousness, everywhere. They had been split around, and so the people that remember, what we are trying to do is to help others to recognize that everything is connected, that everything is aligned, that everything has a meaning. So so that we have to do is to put all these parts, the different parts together, and to help people to understand that this all has a meaning as a self. So this is the second part of my mission, which is remember. Put all these members together and give an idea of how it works all together. After we have the second one, we have the third one. The third one is to remember in a different way. The origin of the word remember in Spanish, it's from Latin. Latin gave the main meaning of what it means to remember, which comes from the word recordis. Recordis means to go back to the heart, which is the self. So that means that the third job that I have, my mission in this planet, is to go back to the heart, to help people to recognize how to go back to the self. That's the meaning of go back to the heart, which is recordis in Latin. So this is just one word that represents three meanings, that makes a resume of everything that I do, everything that I am. I remember my past lives, my past universe. I reconnect every part, every member of the ideas and network that creates us all. And the third one, I put all that into the heart. To go back to the heart has this meaning that we call I am. I am is the concept of everything. Okay, so the I am is not just a verb, it's not just a name, it's not even God, it's a concept that reconnects everything that was separated or that is projected from the core, to understand that everything that exists and every one of us is just a perception, a perspective of the self. It's just that. So, so when we say I am, I'm not saying me, Matias, or you, whoever. I am saying I am a reflection of the self. I am a part of the whole. So this is what it means. So the thing is that that along my whole life, I've been doing these three steps in different ways. I have done the first one, to remember my things, my past lives, and I was explaining all my memories. So that I was remembering and sharing my memories. So that's why a lot of people knows me since I was 20 years old, because since I started to explain all this, and all the people started to listen what I was explaining, mostly in Spanish, of course. I was recognized as that, as the one that brings the memory. But in the second part of my life, the other 10 years, the project was to remember. And that was the moment when I started to travel around the world, to go all over the planet, to connect mountains, forests, people, doing connections in the civilization, in nature, in the planet, everywhere. Society, biology, philosophy, everything. I was trying to put all that together to recreate an idea of who are we as a complete being. So I was going all over to reconnect all these parts. So that was the second part of my mission. And in 2015, specifically in August 8, 2015, it started the next level of remembering, which is to go back to the heart. And this is what I want to explain to you about, because of course, most of you in English may know me because of the videos I'm doing now in English, explaining about the history of the universe, explaining about dimensions, explaining about everything that I know, that I remember. But what I'm not explaining in those videos in English is everything that I have done traveling around the world, going to different places, connecting all the information in different places of the world, all the hapen path, all the things that I've done around in the world. I have done many things, going to reconnect the planet, going to reconnect society. I have done many things, traveling around the world, and uh, and in 2015, after all these trips, I went to Egypt, um, and when I went there, when I was uh, with other three friends, I I was I was supposed to go for my birthday, which is August 4th, and I was there, and a friend uh, gave me a gift that she rented the Great Pyramid cubes so I could be there along with my friends, meditating and enjoying. And so it was amazing. But when we got inside, uh, all the things that happened that moment was like changing my entire vision of the remembering. So we started to sing and chant, and in all these chantings, suddenly it was like a channel opening, and suddenly all the memories of these masters came and started to explain about um, um, so, and we start and they started to explain about the concept of I am, and they were showing me like the information that I was supposed to work with. They said you have remember who you were. You have been working on yourself, going around the planet and trying to figure out how to help humans to reconnect with the whole. And now this is the way we can do it. And the way we can do it is by the I am. So they show me a map of the I am. And the map of the I am is something that we used to call the Atlantic Cross. The Atlantic Cross is not like a normal cross, but it has different directions. It has many directions. And the shape of it is more like a cube. If you have the opportunity late look for the image of the chacana. Chacana is the Andes cross. The people from the Andes use this cross, which is like a stair going up and another one going down with these directions and a hole in the middle. So this shape of the cross is more connected to what the Atlantic Cross was. The Atlantic Cross, in the past, call it proticta. The proticta is a structure of cubes that that if you see it in 2 dimensions, you can see the stairs, okay, like this, but you have to see it in 3 dimensions. When you see it in 3 dimensions, you will discover a cube with 6 cubes in each face. So, how can we imagine this? A big cube made up of 27 cubes. So, 9 cubes in one side, 9 cubes in the center, 9 cubes in the other side, okay? And each face, which is 6 faces of a cube, you have to add another cube at each one in the center. So this, in 2 dimensions, gives you the shape of the chacana, but in 3 dimensions gives you the interdimensional cube, which is 33 cubes, because you have 27 in the middle, 9, 9, 9, and then you have 6 in each face, so 33. So these 33 cubes represents the idea of the self, represents the universe in just one shape. It represents that the spirit, the body, and the soul has different levels, has 11 levels, okay, to express itself, express the idea of who it is. And the Trinity is concentrated in that shape. So everything that is in the universe is connected to that specific shape, and that is why the 33 is a code that in every religion, every culture, is a special number. It's not because something historical happened with 33, it's because it's a code that represents that cross, the protecta, which is the machine to activate time and space. The image that we have of the protecta was that it was like a mirror machine with 33 mirrors that were heading to the core. We would say 32 cubes mirror that shape to the core, face to the core, which is the 33rd cube. Okay, so each one of them is facing to the core, recognizing that all the 32 around are just perceptions, aspects of the core, of the center. Okay, and if this core, you can switch it like this outside, so you will be reflecting the outside of everything. So the I am is reflected outside. So imagine that you have 32 mirrors that face in and sometimes face out, like this, constantly. Okay, so this mirror changes according to the North Pole, the magnetical North Pole, which is in everything, north and south, positive, negative, is constantly moving around. So this movement that is spinning constantly makes this change from north to south. So whenever it's not in the center, if this is a center and the pole is moving like no in the center, so these mirrors are facing outside. Okay, so that creates the idea of every reality searching for the truth outside, searching for the family in the stars, from searching for God in the skies, searching for the universe as the truth. But when the North Pole, the magnetical North Pole, had exactly the same spot with the physical North Pole, so it's an opportunity to face in. And this year, 2020, is what it's happening. All the mirrors are going to face to the core. But that would be a mess. That would be a conflict, because the conflict would be that every one of us is looking outside. So each one of us believes something different. Each one of us has a different perspective of ourselves. So we need to connect that in the same frequency, in the same vibration. And in order to do that, we need to face in. So the information that I received from the protecta was that this protecta in a sphere, which is Earth, is settled in 32 nodes, 32 spots of the planet that represent the nodes of the joint with the icosahedron and dodecahedron. These two geometrical shapes, dodecahedron and icosahedron, has one 12 nodes and the other one 20. So 20 and 12, you join it and you have the 32. And all of them face into one core, which is the 33rd. That's the sacred number, 33rd, the 33, that represents the enlightenment, when a self, when a being, faces all its perceptions towards the core, the heart of the system. So when you recognize the core of the system, so you can bring the information from the self in order to make it real, to make it to bring the ideas of the center of the universe, of the I am, into matter, to create a new reality. Okay, so this year 2020 is the alignment of that. So the day August 8, 2015 was the day where I received all this information of how to connect all that, where were those spots in the planet, and that I had to activate that pratikta by saying I am constantly. So the name of this is I am. So that's how we need to activate it. So the next step of all this process was that I had to work in my I am, because if I was going to go to all these spots in the planet, to travel to all of them and to do the anchor of the I am, I had to be coherent. I had to be myself and to recognize myself with the self of the universe, the I am. So that's why the next years, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, I've been working on myself. I've been trying to spread my message as never before. That's why now you are listening in English, and I had to work myself a lot. Everything that happened, I had been through many hard situations, but all of this was to push myself from inside outside and to show that I have to be someone working with the self and not just speaking about the self. I have to put myself into practice and to allow myself to go to the deep, to the to go myself into the darkness, to see my darkness, to understand it, and to work with it, and not being afraid of that. So that's one of the things that I had to do. So I thought that the I am, the Atlantean Cross, has to be done in 2017. So I started a trip that I called the Path of the Dragon. The Path of the Dragon was a path to balance the world, so we can do the I am. But while I was doing the path, I just recognized that the path was for myself, that I was the one being prepared to go to the world and to be aligned. And so the information of the dragon's path I received in 2012, February 7th, 2012, and I received that information from the spirit that most of the people name Merlin, but it was not Merlin. It was another person, another being, and he said to me that in order to go and reach reach your goal, which is to help humanity and help and help humanity and Earth, you need to face the dragon. Dragon is the mythological creature that is the joint of many other animals that has different potentials, that represents the emotions of a person. So every animal has a different emotion and a different potential. So when you put them all together, you have the dragon. And the dragon, to face the dragon, means to face every emotion and to see if you are able to go through it and to balance it. So the path of the dragon is the path to see if you are able to be in the core, if you are able to be in the axis of your own self. So for me, it was like one of the hardest things that I lived. It was really heavy what I had to live in those years, because I had to basically die many times in order to set me free from my own perspective, so I could do what I was supposed to do. So So during those those years, I've been trying to shape the IAM project in many ways. You have no idea how many ways I've tried to organize this trip until 2019. I just discovered that I wouldn't have any help from anyone, that nobody would help me to do this. I had to do it by myself. The message was, you have to do it alone. You have to do it by yourself. You have to do it with anyone's help. And because this was something that I was meant to do. And so I was sent to, I was said that the time when I was supposed to do this, it was in the mirror time. The mirror time means that every date is like a code. We don't have to follow the calendar. We don't have to follow the days as a special thing, but we have to think about it as a code. So they said there is a code that represents the number 8, which is the mirror date for time, and then another date, which is the 12, the number 12, that represents the mirror time of space. So in between time and space, in a mirror, you have to do this reconnection of the world, this remembering, okay, of everything to get the balance. Okay, so so that's how what I had to do, what I have to do. So this information, this path that I had to take should be done while I was 33 years old. So this year, 2020 till 2021, I would be 33 years old. So my guides told me, you have to be that age, so your time, 33 years, would reflect in 33 spaces. So that would be coherent. Okay, so that would be the mission. So so the thing is that in between 2020 and 2022, we have those mirror dates. The first one, the time, is February 2nd, 2020, which has already been. That date, if you look it as a Spanish, not as an English, you will see that it's 0202 2020. So it's a reflection. You can see it. It doesn't matter from where you take it. You can see it anyway. So that's the main one. And if you put all these twos together, you have 8, number 8. So that's the portal of time. And then the last one in 2022, you will have February 22nd, 2022, which is 22022022. So this is the mirror of space because all the numbers joined and make 12. So why 8? 8 is the number of the time because it's the torus that recreates the infinite, constantly moving from one direction to another. And it represents also the timelines of the cube, the reality. If you have a cube, you will have 8 nodes facing out, okay? So that represents the different timelines of the universe. So 8 directions. And then the space is the dodecahedron. And the dodecahedron has 12 faces, which is the 12 faces of a sphere. That's why 8 directions of time in 12 directions of space. These two together creates the 32 nodes of the reality. So plus the one in the core that represents the I am, the enlightenment. So that's why in between the time and the space, I had to have 33 years old and travel to the 33 spots of the planet. Um, so this is the main information. So this is why I decided to travel to Egypt again, the day February 2nd, 2020, with 13 friends of mine. Why? Because I was supposed to be the core, the axis of the network, and then the 12 faces around, which were my friends, 12 faces around, facing to the core, to download the information of what we had to do along all this time. And one other person outside representing the whole network, holding us all together. So we've been with them those days in Egypt, working and trying to connect ourselves with this informations. And one of the things that we received was that one of the things that we received was that in my path would start the day of my birthday in August 4th. August 4th is the day of my birthday. So I have to start the path that day. And I asked, so what happened before? And they said, nothing. You have to stay home like everyone else and just wait until the moment you can start. So they said that these years, 2020, 2021, would be like very heavy years for change in the planet. But I had no idea how it was supposed to be. So suddenly, 3 weeks later, the quarantine started, and all this process of going home and to be inside and not being able to travel was like exactly like they said. You have to stay home and wait until you have to travel in August. So I was supposed to come to France because I had to study French for one of the places that I had to go that they only speak French, so I had to learn French. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to travel. But suddenly, the code of France in numbers in the phone is 33. So I was supposed to be preparing the 33 vibration. So I had to spend the whole quarantine here in France and to stay aligned with myself. So the thing is that preparing myself in the 33 so I could go to the world and to all these 33 places. The thing was that during the quarantine, what happened was that I received the visit of one of my guides, my masters, and he said everything is going to change. So don't expect to do it as you expected to do it. Everything will be different. So we have to start with plan B. The plan B was not traveling, but going in the axis, going in one spot. And the reason why I had to be in just one spot is if I was not able to go to all these places, I would have to connect all these places by the axis that joined them all. And this brings me to the main idea of where and why it was created, the network of consciousness. Remember about the protecta, the cube. So when you have this cube, you will have every one of these cubes facing into different directions of the planet. These different directions would be the 12 nodes of the icosahedron and the 20 nodes of the dodecahedron. This 32 facing out and 1 facing in, which is the core, is the is the connection that um, that represented the network of consciousness. So everyone in the past had the idea that if you go to those places, you can think with the planet, you can be connected to the whole world with the planet, thinking with the planet. So, but in order to connect all this network of consciousness, they looked for one specific spot where they one specific spot where they connect all the others, and that's Egypt. And why is Egypt? Because if you connect the parallel and meridian of Egypt is 30 degrees north, 30 degrees east, or 33 degrees north, 33 degrees east. So the territory of Egypt represents the code 30, 30, 33, 33 constantly. Okay? So this is the spot, the point of connection of the whole network. Okay? That spot there. They use that the energy of Africa, they use the energy of Sinai to push that network because they have the river Nile connecting from south to north and the delta opening the crown chakra going to the head of the snake, which is Anatolia, Turkey. So all these connections of the planet said that this is the region, the 30, 30 and 33, 33 degrees of the parallels and meridians connect the axis of all the world. So this is why the portal of the stars, the pyramids, were built there. And this information of my guide, he said, so if you are not able to go around the planet, you have to go to the axis of the consciousness of the planet. Okay, so that's the main idea. So the thing was that we have been like for a year working in the schedule in logistics to do a very, very big trip around the world to all these nodes that I will share with you in a list. Of course, you will have it. Yeah, you will have it written. I will explain where later. So I even had paid for some of the places where I have to go. But suddenly, after my guide came and told me everything will change, after that, the travel agency told me some places has been cancelled because of the COVID-19. So most of the places are very far away islands that have been locked because they don't want to get ill, because they don't have doctors or something like that, hospitals, nothing. And the cruises were closed too. They were canceled until next year. So it's impossible to do the trip around the 33 spots of the world. Logistically, is impossible right now, and nobody knows what is going to happen next year. So before the logistics changes, my guide told me it will change. So you have to go to Egypt and stay there. And he said, in 1 week, you will have the information from a person from the start, Sirius, that he will tell you where, how, and who, and everything, all the questions. He will tell you how to do it. So I was waiting for that being, and I must admit that I was a bit scared because I don't know. I was lying on my bed waiting for someone to appear behind the door or whatever, and I was really worried about it. But suddenly, I received this image of a serious person, a person from Sirius, the star, coming uh, coming out from the door. Like showing itself from the door. So I slept like that, but I woke up with this idea about someone from Sirius showing up from the door. And so suddenly I said I will look it in internet. So I checked for that, for Sirius is coming up. And something really interesting came up, which is the heliacal dawn, no, heliacal rising. I don't know in English how it says. Heliacal rising of Sirius. Okay, so my guide told me you will have to connect. You will have to connect the whole world and the whole network through time, outside the time. So I thought that outside the time is a specific day in the Mayan calendar, which is 25th, July 25th. But they said no, it's outside time. It's outside all the times that you work with. So and Sirius will tell you when is that. So I checked of that, and something interesting came out, which is the basis of everything that we are going to do in the IAM project and how we are going to do it. So the heliacal rising of Sirius, it means that every a few months, like I don't know if 4 or 5 months every year, the star of Sirius disappears from the sky in the north hemisphere. It disappeared, okay, and you cannot see it because it's in the south, and the day you see it again before the rising of the sun, that day for the ancient communities, ancient cultures, was the first day of the year. And before that, the 5 days before were the days outside time. So for the Mayan calendar, you have 13 months of 28 days each and a day outside time for celebration, which is the 25th, July 25th. But the interesting thing is that that date for Egypt is August 4th. And why is that? Because the rising of the star depends on the parallel where you are. So the parallel 20, which is Yucatan in Mexico, is the 25th of July. But in the 33rd is August 4th. So all the project that I was supposed to do was in between my 33 years old, which is August 4th, and I was supposed to be in Egypt, which is the degree 33, north and east. So by being for my birthday there in that latitude and the meridian, I am exactly in the spot where I am supposed to be for the first day of the year that we have to follow. So it's Sirius, the star that begins with the year, that will tell us what to do. So because of this, I organized the year. I organized the year to. I organized the year to be connected with all of you every day, to make like a conscious quarantine, to connect the network from the axis. I will be in the axis in Giza, in the Egypt pyramids every day. I will go to the pyramids every day and meditate to be balanced with you all. And uh, and the calendar that we are going to follow is different from the calendar that we have today. So the first day of the year will be August 4th, when Sirius appears for the first time in the year before the sun rises. And before that, we have 5 days of celebration, which is the 5 days outside time. And why 5 days? Because of this. The calendars of the past times in Egypt was 12 months of 30 days each, which has 3 weeks of 10 days each. So the first week, 10 days, was for the spirit, the other one for the soul, the other one for the body. So the Holy Trinity. We have 9 chakras in our body, the 7 that we all know, then we have 2 more in the knees and the feet, and the torus that connects the rest of them. So we have 9 chakras plus 1, the torus, that connects all. So every month of 30 days is a month to connect with the Holy Trinity of soul, of spirit, soul, and body. And each month will be changing. So in ancient times, we call that periods of time like hol 1, hol 2, hol 3, hol. So it would be hol lak, which means 1, hol su, which means the period, the second period, then the third period, hol dis, and so on until the 12th. So these are not in our calendar. It's another calendar. It's an ancient calendar. So this next year, we all are going to move through that new calendar outside the time. And through the time, we are going to connect every day to work with an alignment, so we are all balanced in the whole network. So these 5 days that are the rest of it, the rest of the month, is because these 12 months with 30 days each make a sum of 360 days. So 360 days represents the 360 degrees of the sphere of space and the sphere of time. Okay, 360. So this is important to realize that for the ancient information, they split the days in 360 because we needed to make a perfect sphere of space and time, and that's what we are going to do. So we have 5 days that are out of that time that represents the tetrahedron, cube, octahedron, icosahedron, and dodecahedron. These 5 structures that represents the whole universe is one for each day out of time. So what we are going to do in this year is to work every day with the meditation, an alignment, a statement that we are going to activate, okay, along the whole network of consciousness. So I will be there in the pyramids, but I will ask you to go into other places to make the same alignment. And this is the explanation. So remember, 5 days outside time, that will be 30 and 31 July, and 1, 2, and 3 of August. These 5 days will be outside time and will be for celebration and calibration of the self, of the being. So we are going to work with the tetrahedron the first day, cube the second day, octahedron the third day, icosahedron the 4th day, and dodecahedron the 5th day. So these days we are going to be balanced. August 4th, we will start with the 360 days to work with 360 aspects of the self in coherence, okay? Through coherence of the self. So we will be 12 months of 3 weeks each, and each week will have 10 days, 9 for each chakra and 1 to put them all together in the torus, okay? Okay, so each day for each chakra, we will be working with a statement, which is, for example, I am unconditional love. This is one of the statements, but we will have 360. A statement, a task that would take like 5 minutes every day, and an alignment, okay? An alignment. This alignment will be every day. I will do the alignment for it will be recorded, so it doesn't matter when you do it, but the time for these alignments will be at 8:20 p.m. Egypt time, okay? So I will do that every day, the alignment, so we are all together, all connected together. Okay, so the task that I will ask for you to do is that every day, just 5 minutes, you have to go to whatever you have closest to you. A temple, a pyramid, a holy place. It doesn't matter the religion. It could be Christian, Muslim, any type of religion, okay? Judaism, whatever, doesn't matter. What matters is that it's a temple. Because I'm gonna be in the pyramid, which is a temple, connecting to the unconscious. So we need to change the mirrors of the pratikta from outside to the inside. So the only way we can do that is by reprogramming the unconscious of the world. And the unconscious is related to the social aspect. To understand the mind of the world, we have to understand that the subconscious is the nature. Trees, rocks, mountains, caves, animals is the subconscious, okay? Then we have the unconscious, which is social, okay? Social aspect. This social aspect of the world is the society, the humans, okay? So society is the unconscious aspect. And why is that? It's not a bad thing, but it means that they move in the same wave, okay? So they move in the same wave. So that's why it's unconscious, because they cannot move but like individuals, they move like a group, okay? So that's when an aspect is unconscious. And then we have the conscience, which is the work that we individuals do inside the system, okay? So it doesn't matter if you cannot go inside the temple. Maybe you can go to the door of the temple. Doesn't matter if it's closed, but this will be in August, don't worry. So the thing is that don't think about what you believe of religion, what you believe of that specific place or whatever. The reason why we choose temples or places of faith is because in the unconscious, even if we don't believe in religions, everyone thinks that that place there is a place to connect heaven and earth, okay? So that's the reason why in the programming of the subconscious, of the unconscious mind, we have the temples like a place to connect with the divine on earth. So that's why they are all facing up to the sky. And what we are going to do, facing out, And what we are going to do in those temples is to face the I am. So our task in those places is to say the statement that we are going to work that day. So thousands of people working together, saying the same statement to face the I am into the core of the system. Okay, this is like a like a reprogramming of consciousness of the whole planet. Okay, so this would change the perception, not change the world, change the perception, so people could be more wide open to grow from inside, from the I am, and not from the outside. So uh, this change of perception must be done in those places because of that, because it's the programming. Okay, don't think about religion, don't think about culture, don't think about that. Think about neutral. It's, oh, everyone thinks that this place is a connection between heaven and earth. So if we are here to help change the humanity, we can use this, the unconscious way they have to understand the divine on earth, and we can help to change that image inside. So this is the change of perception done. So this will start 2020, August 12th, 2020, in 1 month and a half. Okay, that's the task. So everything that I am explaining right now, everything will be explained in a blog. In July, I will share with you a blog. Everything, every task, every day, everything will be explained. Okay? Everything will be like written, explained with all the Q&A, everything. Okay? So you could have as much as information you need to do it properly. Okay? This is just the announcement that we have started with this plan, with the IAM project in this way. So I will be in Egypt for late July, starting with the project. Okay, and the July the 1st, we will start to put in our social media, my social media, all the information of where do you have to connect, which Instagram and Facebook you have to follow to be aligned every day. We will put flyers and post every day of the year saying what we work today, the task, the statement, everything. So don't worry about a thing. Everything will be explained, okay, day per day. And I will be doing chats, alignments, explanations. Every day I will be with you. We will be all connected through all this process of reconfiguration of the consciousness of the planet. So this will be our big quarantine outside time. We will work with the quarantine of the consciousness. Okay, so we have to be prepared and ready to work with this reconfiguration of the self. So I will do many explanations every day, explaining every detail of everything and posting everything constantly. So don't worry about a thing. I will be sharing everything in July about everything you need to know to start to be one, to be connected on July 30. Okay? So in 1 month, July 30, we begin with the I am. And this is the logo that you know from the I am, but I split it in two. This is the logo of the path around the planet, but the axis of the I am will have another logo, which is the one that I will be posting from now in every post. So so don't worry. Every post will be in the same place in Spanish and English. You will have it in the same post. So everything that I will be posting will be in Spanish and English in the same post. So don't worry about not understanding, and every meditation and alignment will be done in Spanish and English at the same time. Okay? I will be translating myself constantly, saying one thing in Spanish, one thing in English, one thing in Spanish, one thing in English. So I will ask you to be patient, but I will do as much as I can so we can all be in the same page, working together uh, in this project that is the reconnection of the consciousness. So it's been an hour. I think I said everything that I have to say, and I invite you to stay tuned here in the Arsenal Foundation YouTube, because I will be now connecting with Guillermo, and he will explain about the music that we are going to use, because we will be aligned in the same music the whole year, because this is the frequency that we are going to use. And he will explain that in Spanish, and I will be translated it in English. So stay tuned, because now in maybe 5-10 minutes we will be connecting right now, and also doing an alignment with the music to be all together today with the solstice and the eclipse and everything. So well, see you in 5 minutes, and I hope that you could understood everything, and anything that you hadn't understood, I will be writing that, and it will be, of course, posted in the blog that I will do in July. Okay, so you won't miss anything. Thank you for being there. Thank you for joining us in this venture, and thank you for being a part of myself. I am